connected today for another great time together here as we learn about sales and we learn about making money. And so today we're going to focus in on time management for sales success. And the reason I think this is such a timely presentation is because, as we go throughout the year in our sales cycle, things happen. Things just happen personally, things happen professionally, and, over the course of, the years that we have, it's really important for us to really put some great, strict discipline in place. So whether you're a publisher that's watching this video today or you're a salesperson, I really feel that it's instrumental, it's important for you to understand in totality, okay, that discipline and time management are mission critical to your overall success, period. But it's just so unbelievably important. So the first thing I'm going to start, though, and talk about in terms of time management is understanding your process. I've often used this example where you could actually, take a bunch of parts of cars, and you could take those car parts and you could throw them all into the middle of a room. And put qualified individuals in that room, they could assemble the car. And you might even be able to drive that car away. But the wheel is wiggling and isn't quite torqued correctly or put together correctly or whatever. Because there's really no process, there's no way for the boss, the manager, or even one of the individual mechanics to understand, okay, where in the process are we wrong? How can we fix this in the future? And so that's why I want to share with you that it's important for you to understand about the total process. So the first part of the sales process, as we've talked about before, is getting access to people. Doorkeeper, using email, using voicemail. The next part is getting to the meeting, meaning that you're going to actually have good quality meetings via phone or in person. The next process is change. What are you going to do to change that person's mind, that prospect's mind, to get them to either run with you or not run with the competitor or spend extra money they don't think they have? The next proposal stage, where you're going to present a really simple proposal. The next is the decision stage. They're going to make a decision. What are you going to do as a person to make that decision easier for them? And then the final part of the new media sales process, if you will, is retention. What is it that you're going to do to be able to retain so that next month they'll actually renew with you? The thing to remember is that any process is better than no process at all, but you need discipline. The example that I can give you is that, Tiger Woods is a great golfer. No matter what's happened in his personal life or whatever, he's just a really great golfer. So he could go out on any given random day, and he could golf club and probably do pretty darn good. Michael Jordan, just a gifted basketball player. Any given day of the week, even without much practice or thought, he could walk out into the basketball court and shoot the hoops and do, probably make baskets and do really, really well. So the thing to remember is, since the beginning of time, and here's a quote from Aristotle, since the beginning of time, we are what we repeatedly do. And excellence, then, is not an act, but it's a habit. And habits are formed how? Formed by practicing over and over again. So I think you need to ask yourself, okay, do I have a good sales process? What is my personal action plan? What am I going to personally do to make sure that I'm going to stay focused, I'm going to stay on task, and I'm not going to be random in my approaches to selling? So to that end, personal tracking is so important. Ask yourself, when am I the most happy? Tracking that. Are you the most happy in the morning? Are you the most happy in the afternoon? I mean, when is it that you are happiest? Because those are the day when you want to make your calls. When do you feel your best? Are you a morning person? Are you an afternoon person? I mean, figure that out, because you want to make phone calls when you're happy. You want to do data kind of work when your brain is working, but, you just don't want to be, completely bored, all the time. Also, when are your clients most active? For example, you're a local publication or a city and regional magazine, a CRM. Well, you might want to say, listen, I can't make calls during the lunch hour, obviously, or dinner time or morning rush. So you might need to personally track and make sure that the things that you're doing, the sales activities, don't happen when your clients are busy. Look at normal business patterns, observe those, calculate those, and for goodness sake, record those in your CRM system. I actually had somebody the other day say, what does CRM stand for? CRM is your customer management software. You're going to want to take a look at that software and make sure that you track and record everything that happens with your customers. So here's maybe a sample schedule for you. Overall, what I want you to add or what I want you to understand from this sample schedule is I really want you to get in the zone. You know, how many times have you kind of gotten into the groove of things and then, you know, something gets you distracted or something gets you sidetracked, right? Well, when that happens, you get out of the zone. You know, we use a lot of sports analogies because they apply so much to the things that we talk about. You'll hear a quarterback of a football team say, was in the zone. I just really got in the zone. What does that mean? It means you had an innate ability or a great ability to focus in and really focus in on something. Well, what do most salespeople do? I'm going to make a few calls. I'm going to answer some mail. I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to run and grab a sandwich real quick. And what happens is give yourself the ability as a salesperson or a publisher to get in the zone. And the reason you want to get into a zone is because you know how that feeling you get when you get into a groove and you move it and you're shaking it and you're getting things done. See, that's all about getting in the zone. So you might come in 8, 9 o'clock and you might email, you know, a little bit here and there. And then 10 to noon, you want to get into the call zone. You want to do nothing but make phone calls. Don't be answering email. Don't be checking your BlackBerry, your Blueberry, your Cranberry, whatever it is. You want to get yourself in the zone, and you want to stay in the zone. You want to stay in the zone as long as you can because if you're grooving and you're moving and you're shaking, it's so important to your overall success. Instead, what do most people do? They allow themselves to be interrupted. Now, if you happen to be a person that's in management, hey, you might need to allow yourself to be interrupted. However, if you're a professional salesperson, you want to get in the zone. Then I encourage you to go to lunch. Take a break. Get up from your desk. Don't be at your desk all the time. It's kind of messy and, you know, can be kind of a bad situation from an HR perspective. Get up from your desk. Take a little break, walk around the block, eat your sandwich at the local park or on the front step of the business or whatever. Take a little break. Why is that important? Because you want to disengage your brain. Your brain under a high-capacity threshold for a certain period of time. And so you don't want to burn yourself out. You want to be at your best and be as optimum as you can. And using another sports analogy, that's why people take breaks during games because they can only go so long physically. So then you're going to come back from lunch, and you're going to do emails and proposals, and that's directly related to what? The call between stopping during those calls. What I want to encourage you to do is make notes during those calls. Go follow up when you've gotten out of the call zone. Don't get yourself out of the groove. Get in the groove when you're making those calls. Then emails and proposals. Now, some more calls, guys. Successful salespeople are going to make, 10, 15, 20 great quality calls a day. I had a senior level sales rep say to me, honestly, Ryan, in a given day, I only have time to make 5 quality phone calls. I was surprised by that because this is a person that's a little bit rambunctious, a person that, should be able to make a bunch of phone calls. So I thought to myself, well, gosh, maybe 15, 20 calls isn't reasonable. So I tracked myself. And I challenged that individual. I called them back, a really, really nice woman that I work with. I said, I challenge you to make 10 because I did it the other day. She said, no way. I said, I did. I made 10 really quality phone calls, had 10 quality conversations, and left about 15 voicemails. She challenged, and I bet a pizza or something like that for her team. And sure enough, she said, you're right. If I just really pushed myself, I can. And guess what? I closed a bunch of business, and that's what I want to hear. Get yourself into call zone number 2. Then get out of the zone, write some proposals, do some administrative work, and then get back in the zone. Okay? It's how I like to explain this. If you're painting a house and you don't paint all day, but maybe a couple of times, you're not going to get the job done. Okay? So you have to develop when you're going to take breaks, how much paint you're going to do, and you're going to need to stick to it. You're going to need to do the work. A lot of times working with salespeople, and I'll explain their day to me, and I'll look at them and say, really? Expect that you're going to be a sales success? Ooh, wow. Some of you might say, wow, Ryan, wow, that's really mean, isn't it? Well, no. Because you're only going to make 3 or 4 calls a day and send 25 emails. You're just not going to have great success. You need better time management than that. Opportunity call zone number 2. And at the end of the day, one of my tips for you is I like to do my final emails and then I like to do the next day before I go home. Otherwise, if I come in at 8 o'clock, I can't get my email done, so I'm late getting into the call zone. If I'm not in that call zone, if they're not making calls and quality emails, guess what? I'm just not a huge success because I need zones. I need the zone time. What might you do to let people know you're in the zone, especially if you live in cubicle land? Well, one of the things that you might consider doing is just coming up with a fun sign that you can hang on the back of your chair or you can hang on the door of your office that says, I'm in the zone. Let people know that you're in the sales zone. Now, I'm trying to be fun about this, but one of the things that's pretty serious is that you do need a plan of attack. When you go on, what is your plan of attack? Remember, research proof is this. Any plan is better than no plan, period. Because plans, were a waste of time. Then what we would do is we would bring together 10 qualified carpenters, and we would say, here are your nails, here are your shelves, build me a house. Now, do you think the carpenters could build the house? Good. How long will it take them? It will take them infinitely longer to build a house without a plan. Build the house. Yes. Even without a plan, the house will get built. But any carpenter worth his sawdust will tell you that a plan is required if you want to be efficient. Now, my dad's a carpenter. Could I say, hey, Dad, go build a little shed out back? Could he do that? Absolutely. But he would tell you, if he was here today, he would say, if I had a plan, measurements, I could do it so much more quickly. You want to create a plan of attack, and you want to stick to it. It's really important that you understand this. Then make adjustments as needed to that plan. Time and energy by planning ahead, making sure that overall, in the end, you stick to your plan. Remember, what are the best times of the day for you to call them, and what are the best times of the day for your clients to receive your calls? But many of you have actually written down a plan, written something down and said, this is what I'm going to do. Here's an example of a plan that you might want to consider. So let's just talk about prospect X. Let's just call him Bob, okay? Bob is going to be our prospect today. And Bob is the local manager of a furniture store, okay? So let's figure out what we're going to do. Our plan of attack to get through to Bob, okay? An immediate phone call to him, and he doesn't pick up, so we're going to leave him a voicemail. Then email. And based on template number 1, we've talked about templates in the past, I'm going to wait 24 hours. Phone call number 2 about template number 1. So phone call number 2 is going to be about what I emailed him about the day prior. Then let's just doesn't pick up the phone. So voicemail. Then I'm going to immediately send him an email about the voicemail that I just left. And that's going to be template number 2, and it's going to contain success stories. And then I'm going to wait 24 hours. And then I'm going to leave phone message number 3. I'm going to try to call him a third time. I'm going to use template number 3 for my voicemail. Remember, through all of our sales training, and a lot of you actually get sales training on a regular basis from me, and that's awesome. Thank you so much. Some of you that don't engage me for sales training for your team, these are the kind of things that we work through. Sales templates, leaving great voicemails, leaving quality voicemails, sending great emails, quality emails. Every email is different because we have a plan. That's right, we have a plan. Here's a quote from Harry Truman I'd like to share it with you. Reading the lives of great men, found that the first victory they won was over themselves. Discipline with all of them came first. What does that mean? You need to be in control of yourself. You need a plan. You need a process if you want to maximize the time in any given day, okay, that you may be wasting. The big when it comes to time management from sales success is stop being random. Just stop. Stop being random. It's so unbelievably crazy to me that salespeople begin the day with, well, I don't work today, but I'm at my best shot. Well, here's the thing. That's called randomness, and randomness just does not work. It just doesn't. If random was best, if the random way of life was best, the quarterback would say to his team, here's what y'all are going to do. I'm going to say hike. Y'all run out. You guys just run out in the field. I throw the ball in the air, and somebody catch it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it does look like some football teams. But more importantly, yeah, sometimes randomness will work. Most of it doesn't. Most of it just doesn't. So have a plan for your calls and have a plan for your emails. Stop being so random all the time. I really want to talk to you about the email zone, and the reason we spent so much time earlier speaking about it is because leaving your email open throughout the day actually creates massive amounts of interruptions. See, you have to train your clients that you are not immediately available. And you might, whoa, Ryan, hold the phone. What are you talking about? That's bad customer service. No, it's not bad customer service. Remember something. You only have so many given day. If you immediately respond to every single customer, you will lose time in the day because you're constantly being interrupted. You won't be able to get other things done. So you do need to reply to your customers in a very timely manner, okay? It doesn't have to be immediate. I just love these people that carry their BlackBerry or iPhone with them, and I mean, as soon as it vibrates, oh my goodness, they start typing on it right away. Well, customers that you're not available, you're there for them. I mean, you're there for them from a customer service perspective, but come on, you're immediately available, except for maybe around deadlines, okay? Statistics tell us you can lose 8 hours. 8 hours each week leaving your email open as it constantly interrupts you. Isn't that crazy? Is it wild to know that? What you want to do is create a better pattern or shut off the notify. You know the little notify that dings or pops up whenever you go and you get an email? So you can also use filters and rules. Filters and rules will allow email to sift or be sorted various different folders in your Outlook or Entourage or whatever you use. I like to do that because stuff that comes in from certain people, I can flag that as being something I'll read later, and I'll make sure I put that in my to-do later folder. Okay. Now to stop losing sales, okay. You will often hit hard and then go soft, and this is what I mean by that. You get really excited on a Monday and you call like 50 people and you're really ramming hard, and then the next day it's maybe 30, and then it's 20, and then it's 10, and then it's Friday. Okay, something. You want to use your CRM or your customer relations management tool to set reminders for you to make sure that everybody stays on task. And you want to remember something. You have to hit hard constantly. Persistent. Politely persistent is so important to your success as a salesperson. The problem with you is one of the most common things I hear, and that's, hey, it's Ryan Dohrn calling to check in. That's terrible. I'm reaching out to you. Terrible. Just terrible. Why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Those voicemails just get you deleted. Stop losing sales. When you contact somebody, you reach out to them with a financial benefit, and reach out to them often. Use CRM tools. All top salespeople use CRM tools of some kind. Now, your CRM tool is a notebook. I'm not going to fault you too much because I use notebooks a lot. But the best sales reps I know refer to their CRM tool as their Bible. They use that customer relations management tool all day long. And the other thing is it doesn't require you, using that tool, doesn't require you to memorize every itty-bitty detail of every single customer that you have. But it does allow you to collect those details. See, I want to know how many kids somebody has. Are they all girls? Are they all boys? I want to build a relationship with them. And the legacy trail for the next rep that comes behind me. It comes behind me to be able to know that this client has 6 kids. I want the next person behind me to know that this particular client is a jerk, maybe, or it's hard to deal with. I want to maximize the probability, maximize my ability rather to communicate with that prospect. Use email tools and reminders to help you build a to-do list. So every day when you come in, bing, 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 all the reminders for you that day are going to pop up on your calendar. Of being disciplined and better time management tools or systems in place. Now, another piece of being good with your time is using templates. We've talked about this in the past, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but I do tend to talk about this a lot when I'm training sales staffs at local newspapers and magazines, or magazines too. I like Microsoft Word documents on my folder, on my desktop rather, and inside maybe a folder. And I like to write out common answers that I give for certain questions. And the reason I want to do that is because it's really important that you don't rewrite emails more than a couple times. I mean, that's just a waste of your time. Stop wasting time. Okay? You want to write down the emails that you answer most often. Like, for example, one I get a lot is, hey, I'd like to get a copy of your media kit. Well, the response back is pretty simple. It's templated. The response is, love to send you the media kit. Please tell me a little bit more about your product. There's really, and then I list out some information I'd love to get from that person. Allows me to cut and paste that and be moving on to the next thing in a matter of just split seconds, milliseconds. Every multi-million-dollar rep that I know uses templates. So why shouldn't you be using templates too? Now, something that Rohn, who is a major leadership coach and business coach across the country, said, unless you change how you are, you always have what you've got. So if you're mediocre, you will probably end up being mediocre unless you do what? Change. Why do you see so many prosperous individuals that look back and when they're telling their life story, they say, started out with nothing? Because stood this quote, in order to be something different than you are, you have to change. And part of change is you need to be a lot more disciplined in everything that you do. Now, here's from our training session today. Any process is better than no process at all. It's important for you to identify quickly what your process is going to be. The first slide that we actually went through here in our training class today was very, very specific to this, and that was, here is my media sales process. Now, it doesn't mean that what we talked about today was, contacting people via email. That's a part of getting access. I'm talking about the whole total process. Getting access, getting to a meeting, change, getting them to better understand how change relates to them, making decisions, helping them make decisions better, and then, being able to help them retain, be able to retain customers. I want to retain my folks as often as I can. That has to be a part of my overall process, and that's why it's so important. Anyway, you stop the randomness. All too often, you guys are just so unbelievably random. You have to stop being random if you want to maximize your time. See, here's the thing that makes me so frustrated sometimes is that I talk to salespeople every day all across the country and around. Talk with folks in Barcelona, in Holland, in Australia. What I often say is, oh, Ryan, yeah, that's a great little refresher course. Like, wait a minute. You're not selling your budget. You're not making goal. You're not selling enough. Stop telling me this is a refresher course. This is core. This is core to your success as a media salesperson. Stop saying here. Stop being random. Get a process in place. Stop being random. You will have better success. Believe me. So, and schedule it out. Schedule out every hour. I do. Every single minute I have something happening, unless a call runs for an hour. I made a schedule this morning that I joined a good buddy of mine, Tony, to go to spin class this morning. And scheduled it out. I scheduled to join Tony for spin class. See, everything needs to have a schedule. You know, I don't know how many of you have kids, but I have two boys, 9 and 12 years old. And I got some sage advice from my mother many years ago. And she said, Ryan, one of the best things that you can do is get your kids on a schedule. And I thought, yeah, okay, Mom, whatever. And I didn't. My kids weren't on a schedule for a long time, and they made us crazy. They were up at 10 o'clock at night when they were young. They were running the house ragged. And I realized, wait a minute, these guys need a bedtime. They need a schedule. Getting up at a certain time, putting for naps at a certain time, putting them to bed at a certain time. So unbelievably important for you to have a schedule for yourself. Have then a plan of attack. That's our next item on the list. Have a plan of attack. What do you do in that gaining access part of the new media sales process? What are you going to do? How are you going to attack that advertising prospect? Is it via email? Oh, geez, guys, you just can't do that. Now, granted, 70% of sales close via email, but 80-some% of those sales happened because you met with a person on the phone or you met them in person. Fact. That's just a fact. So you need to have a plan of attack. Then you need to think about start creating templates. It's so important overall for you to have really good quality templates pre-written, so those readily accessible to use. It's so unbelievably important. So I want to encourage you to look into templates, find templates, use those templates, and make sure that you understand it makes your life easier. Next, tools. Your CRM tool is mission critical to your success. It really should be. It's so important for you to understand that overall you need tools to be successful. Now, they planted corn with a plow and with a mule or with an ox, and no one said it doesn't work. They just wanted to push it, and so they invented the tractor. It wasn't that working with a cow wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't that they actually get crops. They actually got a lot of crops out of the field. What you have to remember is you have to use the tools that are there. Just because you can plant a field of corn with your hands doesn't mean that you should. I can do it with my feet. It doesn't mean that I should. Use tools at your disposal because overall it's going to end up becoming mission critical to your success. So what CRM tools that are out there that may be of interest? Well, one of the most robust in the magazine space is called Magazine Manager. It's a great tool for all things to do with production. Google has a CRM tool called Insightly. It's a great little tool, and with most accounts, it's free. Called 37 Signals. They have a product called HighRise, and HighRise is used by a lot of my customers. It's easy, it's robust, it's got all the tools that you need in it to be highly successful. Or you need to absolutely make sure that you have tools in place to be and use those tools to their fullest. What might you do with your CRM tool that that makes the most sense is begin to develop your top 50 list, your top 50 prospects in that, and work from there. I like to have my prospects in there. I want to have all my calendar dates in there. I want to have my reminders in there. I want to put as much as I can in that CRM tool. And one of the reasons that I like the systems I mentioned is because they're all cloud-based. And what does cloud-based mean? Cloud-based means that instead of that software running on a computer in your office, that software is actually running sort of in cyberspace. It's actually on another server located, someplace else. And you might say, well, wait a minute. I mean, if it's there on my server and if it's there on someone else's server, it all matters the same, right? Well, it really doesn't. Cloud-based software allows you to access it via the Internet. That is, no matter where you are, you're not going to lose contacts, you're not going to lose data. You're just able to go through and access that without any trouble, whatsoever. Well, let's wrap up. Time management for sales success, in my mind, is about one thing, and that is being disciplined and having a disciplined process and a disciplined approach. Unfortunately, I'm sad to report that the majority of salespeople I work with don't have a process. They're random. They're all over the place, and so those folks are successful. Not. Ask me for one piece of advice. I would go off this video and I would immediately begin to write templates. I would write those templates. I would live by those templates. I would use those templates until they were just little pieces of, just kind of, thin, mattered up paper. That's how much I rely on templates. You can change and be more efficient with your time. It does take some dedication. Overall, it does take a lot of discipline. But, the first step is always the hardest. I've heard that from many folks that went to AA or any type of, treatment help services, is that, the first step is to understand that, you may have a problem and that you need to fix it. And then get committed right away, to, time management principles, because in the end, overall it is going to make you infinitely more successul. And that's really what I want you to be. I want you to be tremendously successful, and time management is such a critical part, of that. Now, remember something, all of you that are joining us, is that as a customer of Shweiki, you can receive sales training, from me here at Brain Swell Media via phone or through any of our online systems, absolutely, at a 25% discount. And that's why, overall, it's so important for you to understand the relationship you have with Shweiki Media comes with great value. So reach out to me. Happy to work with you in that capacity. So, all right, until next time, in our next class, we're going to focus in on some more publisher topics, but I like to weave those back and forth together because I just think overall it's really important to your overall success to make sure that you have some great time management and sales essentials as well. So, all right, I'm Ryan Dohrn from Brain Swell Media. Thanks for being a customer of Shweiki Media, and thanks for allowing me to come into your office today and give you a little bit of advice. Reach out to me if you need some help. Remember, all Shweiki customers get a 25% discount from all of my services. Take care, and best of luck as you inspire your sales team to great success. And if you're a salesperson, best of luck to you today. Make some great quality calls and do something to help better your time management skills. Take care, everybody.